Hey, you guys, it's Jamie Morant, Mrs. South Carolina plus America, and I'm super excited about Ladies' Night tonight because we all need some self love and self care. So I wanted to do this because I love empowering women. That's my platform, and I just think it's crucial for us mentally, physically, and spiritually to take care of ourselves. So tonight, I hope you enjoy the broadcast and we're going to get started. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, but y'all, it's Friday. Well, we're going to do this thing and we're going to get it on and popping, okay? So my guest today is Mrs. Texas plus America, my sister queen, Melissa Torres. And I'm excited because this is like our first time really getting to meet each other. And I'm super inspired by her work. She's a makeup artist. And if y'all don't know, I'm in the beauty industry as well. So I've seen her work and some of the things that she's doing in the community to help others feel good about themselves and be confident. And I feel like that's important because as women or just people, it's important to take care of ourselves. And a lot of times how you feel on the outside, getting dressed, getting up, and getting yourself together, it makes you feel good. And I know I feel good when I get myself together and I'm dressed up and I'm doing things that I love to do. And one of the things I love to do is the beauty industry. I love beauty, and not because I feel like you gotta, be beautiful. It's like not a cliche type, but I just feel like it's important for us to take care of ourselves. So, to get started, I want to share a few things that I feel like is important when it comes to self-love and self-care. So, first of all, what is self-love or self-care? It's how you feel about yourself, how you take care of yourself. And I feel like one of the things as women, we're in a very like women can be so competitive sometimes. So I feel like we have to slow down and really take a deep breath and be realistic with ourselves so that we can love ourselves. And one of the things that we shouldn't do when it comes to self-love and self-care is comparing ourselves to others, because a lot of times if we're looking at other people for their success or for what they're doing or how they look on the outside, it's kind of hard to focus on ourselves. So in order to focus on ourselves, we have to stop comparing ourselves to others. We have to really love who we are and appreciate who God has created us to be. We are different shapes, sizes, colors, all that great stuff. And I feel like loving you is more important. Never compare yourself to other people. You're beautiful just like you are. You was created for a purpose, by purpose. That's my thing right there. Purpose. Like you're here for a purpose. So once you know who you are and your purpose, then you will never compare yourself to others. You're beautiful like you are. You're made for a specific reason and calling in the earth. So basically, not comparing yourself gives you that advantage to be exactly who you are and to love yourself and know that you are a missing piece to a puzzle. So don't compare yourself to others. Another thing is not worrying about other people's opinion of you. Other people's opinion of you don't matter. So many people have so much to say. If you're doing good, they can say something good. If you're doing bad, they'll say something. So above all, never worry about other people's opinions of you. Another thing that can help you to self-care and self-love is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Like, don't beat yourself up. Love yourself. Know that you're going to make mistakes sometimes. Know that things are going to happen and you're not going to be perfect. Like, allowing yourself to make those mistakes basically gives yourself the leeway to even love yourself even more, because you're not perfect. But overall, don't beat yourself up. Like, don't beat yourself up. Don't be hard on yourself, because self-love and self-care is knowing that you're not perfect and we're made to need people. So if you need people, that means you don't have to beat yourself up about making mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all are human. So self-love is loving yourself even through the mistakes. I know I've made many mistakes in my lifetime. If I could go back in time, honey, I would be there. But Every mistake that I made has made me a better person because I'm learning, I'm evolving. It's like a toddler when they're growing up, they're going to make mistakes, but every mistake that you make, everything that happens is a stepping stone to help you be a better person. So changing your perspective also could be self-care because how you see it, you know? So don't beat yourself up when you make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up when things happen. Love yourself through the process. Everything is a process. You're not just going to know everything. We're not perfect people. And we all make mistakes. So don't beat yourself up. Mental health is important. Knowing how to unplug from negative situations is self-love and self-care. People, everybody is not for you. I am 36 years old. And one of the most important things that I've learned over the years is that everybody's not for me and I'm not for everybody. So with that in mind, I learned when to unplug myself from unhealthy relationships, connections, people, places, and things. Like that's something I had to learn because one thing growing up, we all try to fit in. Or there's times where we try to fit in, and it's okay to be different because you're different, you're made differently, right? So knowing when to unplug from unhealthy relationships is self-love and self-care because mentally, physically, all the things affect you. You know, being around negative people, being around people that don't appreciate you, being around people that speak negative about you, learn to unplug. It can be an environment, it can just be a place or whatever it is. Learn to disconnect when it's time. So knowing who you are also helps you to unplug from negative relationships, unhealthy relationships. Um, and also remembering that you don't like going back to number one, not comparing yourself to other people. So basically knowing who you are is going to help you even in relationships. Put yourself first. Like another thing is putting yourself first. Sometimes people that are really giving have a tendency to basically give. But sometimes you have to stop and take care of yourself first. And that could be, you know, just taking time for yourself, spending some alone time, getting away from the kids and the family for a little bit, just to mentally get yourself together. Because if you're no good, how can you help somebody else? Right? You know, I don't know how to quote this quote like completely, so forgive me, but I hear a lot of motivational speakers speak about if you were on an airplane and there was something happening, you would put the mask on yourself first in order to help somebody else. How can you help somebody else from a half empty cup? If you're running on E and you're constantly outpouring and pouring out, how can you have enough energy or enough in you to help somebody else when you haven't helped yourself? So it's okay to take that time and help yourself. It's okay to take time and love on you. If that's a day at the spa, go get your nails done, go get your hair done, go get your makeup done, go read a book, or go do something that you love to do. But self-care and self-love is putting yourself first, loving on yourself, doing something you like to do. I know I'm a mother of a 4-year-old. Lord help me. Like he is full of energy, y'all. I have a whole husband, a whole one. So for me, I have to learn to take care of myself, and that's mentally, that's physically, that's spiritually, connecting with positive things. For me, I spiritually, I have to connect and read something positive every day. I have to be positive things in my life, because if not, it determines how my day will go. I have to say affirmations every day. I have to tell myself, hey, look, you can do this. I have to command my day, because I know I care for myself. And when I disconnect from those positive aspects, then my day kind of goes haywire. So for me, I know what I need in order to survive during the day. But I'm not going to talk your heads off, because I want Miss Melissa to come up and share some of the tips that she has for you guys when it comes to self-care and self-love. And I'm just super excited to have her on today. And you guys, here's Melissa Torres, and she is Mrs. Texas Plus America. Oh, and I did want to say that we are in a pageant system, Miss Plus America pageant, and we are contending in July. I'm super nervous, and I'm super excited because I'm connected to so many beautiful, positive, powerful women. And these women all have a story, and everything that they do empowers the community and gives back. So I'm just super excited to be amongst so many powerful women. And Miss Melissa is a makeup artist, and she has been doing makeup. She has been empowering these little girls and women. And I just wanted to connect with her because I love to see people empower other people. And this is Miss Melissa, and I'm super to have her on today. So, Melissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Queen Jade. Appreciate you having me on tonight's ladies' night. Um, I want to start off by saying that self care and self love, I will fully admit, it's not easy. It's truly
No.
not. Uh, and in order for me to fully explain why self care and self love means so much to me personally, I want to share a little bit with you all about my background and my testimony. As my fellow sister queen mentioned, we are part of the Miss Plus America pageant system, and I've learned so much about myself since I got into pageantry. I haven't been in very long. I've been in pageantry for about a year, and here in my hometown of San Antonio, pageantry for plus size women was not a thing. I'm 36 years old as well. I've been here my whole life in San Antonio, and there's been a pageant for plus size women. So when I saw that there was a plus size pageant, I jumped on it. And I'm going to be very honest and transparent. I signed up because I wanted a moment in my life where I could feel beautiful. And in my life, I haven't always felt that way. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I get it a lot. Melissa, how do you do it? Why are you so encouraging? Why are you so positive? Why are you so happy? And I answer very simply, because my life was not always like that. I've also made the most ridiculous mistakes. Intermission, how many of y'all are so grateful that the good Lord loves us just as we are? Amen. Lord,
Amen.
I made some dumb mistakes. And growing up as a young adult, I was very bitter about my situations. You know, come from a broken home. Dad took off. To this day, where's my dad? Poverty was a thing, and it's hard watching your mom struggle, and as a single mother trying to put food on the table, trying to make sure me and my brother had clothes. It was hard watching that, and it grew to the point to where I began to accept that that was my life. I was always going to be broke, busted, and disgusted. I was always going to be a product of a broken home. I myself led myself to believe those things. And growing up, because I had that mentality of this is my life, this is what it is, it ain't going to get any better. I kept myself in those situations, in that mentality. Fast forward to getting involved in pageantry. The first thing I learned was that it's okay to be me,
Yeah.
because I've gotten a lot of flack for competing in this pageant. You're the reason why people talk about overweight San Antonio women. You're promoting obesity. You're promoting unhealthiness. No, I'm not. What I'm promoting is being the best version of yourself, regardless of your size. You don't
Right.
have size two to rock a crown. You
Yeah.
don't. And in that journey, I feel like God put me in the pathway to pageantry because He needed me. Me and God have had a crazy relationship, and I feel like He used pageantry to kind of set a few things straight between Him and I. And one of them, and I'm trying so hard not to cry right now because
You gotta make me cry.
the beauty of it moves me so much. But one thing I learned is that every single hardship, every struggle, every time I had to miss a meal, every time I cried because my dad wasn't around, God chose me for those battles. And He
Right.
chose me because He saw something in me. And I want to share a parable that I heard growing up in the church, and it was the parable of sand. I know y'all are probably thinking, sand? Well, what does that got to do with anything? Well, when we're having our glass of wine or maybe our shot of tequila, what is it made out of glass, right? And when you see a glass, it's shiny, it's bright, it's beautiful. But that glass, whether it's a wine glass, a shot glass, or a teacup, whatever it is, it comes from rough, grainy sand. So you think about, how do I get this sand and turn it into this beautiful, shiny vessel? You got to put it through the fire. You
Right.
that sand so hot that it doesn't have a choice but to transform into something new. Long story short, you gotta burn, baby, burn, so you can come out shining on the other side.
Mhm.
So I feel that one of the most important things in regards to self love is understanding that your situations don't define you.
Right.
Going through the battle, it's because the devil fears you, and let him fear you because you've got such great things going on. Trust me, those battles is God's way of promoting you to a.
Right.
And I feel like that's an honor. For God to trust me so much with all my struggles and my battles, it's an honor.
Yeah.
And once I began to realize that there's reason and purpose behind those hardships, I started to discover other things about myself. One being that I genuinely love people. And as my sister Queen said, as women, we put ourselves on the back seat. And I noticed that within myself and within the women in my community. You know, I live on a rougher side of San Antonio, but I rep my community so hard because our community doesn't define who we are. But if you look in my community, you see single moms, young moms. Maybe they're not moms, maybe they're women that are struggling in abusive relationships, trying to get out of poverty. And I see them and I look at them and I feel like they also feel that they're trapped. So I go so hard, like my fellow sister Queen, with the positivity.
Yeah.
Got to be You got to have that positive mindset because what happens is if that negative seed gets planted and it stays in here, it's going to consume your mind.
Yeah.
And trust me folks, I know it is a battle because when you are in the middle of your hardship, like really
Mhm.
hardship and smile, believe it or not, yeah, there's always a reason to smile. And even on my hardest days, I have to give myself a reality check and I always go off my checklist. One, I'm alive. Two, my man and my child are perfectly healthy. Three, I have a roof. Four, I have food. I've got my daily bread. I got my walk with God. I start counting my blessings. And once I realize, oh, wow, I got a lot more than what I thought. Hey, Lord, that things into perspective for me.
Yeah.
And all of this transitioned into the beauty industry because of another crazy thought that got into my head. And that thought, in a world that can sometimes be ugly, why not try to make it a little pretty?
Hey.
And there's a single woman tuning in right now that can't honestly admit you don't feel a certain type of way when you're all done up, when you're looking good, when you're feeling good. You walk into that room like you own it. That's
Right.
a powerful thing. To watch a woman be the best version of herself, that's amazing. And it is literally within every single person. You can all be the best version of yourself. And one of the harder lessons to learn is realizing that you're not competing against your fellow woman. You're competing.
Right.
Every day I wake up and I ask myself, how can you be better than yesterday?
Right.
And I have my moments where maybe I'm not the best wife, maybe I'm not the best mom. I have a 7-year old, and let me just tell you, Sister Queen, it don't get easier. They get crazier.
No, look, don't scare me, honey. Cause look, I'm praying every day, like Lord, help me, like give me the strategies for this day, Lord. Cause with a 4-year-old, boys. I don't know if you have boys, but boys are like
They're so
energized and everywhere. So for me, I have to get up. I have to get up an hour earlier and like pray and get myself together because like one thing you said is that you have to stop putting yourself on the back burner. And if you're pouring out all day, you have to re-energize yourself. And another thing you said that I wanted to iterate on is that God chose you for certain situations. Like knowing that God trusted you with those situations is powerful. Because one thing that I had to tell myself that some things was not my fault, so it allowed me to forgive myself and take that weight off. Like certain things are not your fault. So it allows you to take that baggage off of yourself and say, hey, look, God is trusting me with something that's bigger than far what I can see. And this is bigger than me. And it's for you to give back to other people. Like you're sitting here today and you can testify and you can tell your story so that so many other people can say, hey, look, if she did it, I can do it. And a lot of times people look at what's on the outside like, wow, she has it all together. She got this, she's got that. But nobody sees the process behind the scenes. Nobody sees the days you're crying. They don't see the days you're on your knees praying like, God, just help me through this day. So a lot of times people see the superficial part of you. And that's what was a struggle for me. Like a lot of people say I had walls built up because I had gone through so much. But I know for sure that I protect my space because I've been through so much that I know what I want to allow in my space. I know how to, like you said, there's certain things you need to survive during the day. I have to get up and pray. I have to do certain things to set the tone for the day. But a lot of people see what's superficial about you. They see the crown, they see the smile, but they don't see the process of what it took for you to get to where you're at. And another thing you said about the sand, one of my platforms is Diamonds and Pearls Ministry. And basically for me, in order to make a diamond, it starts from dirt, and it starts from all the rough stuff, and it has to be purified. It has to be through the fire. It has to be pressured in order to get to where it has to be pressed, and all this great granny stuff, the dirty stuff, for you to come out shining like gold. So for me, people don't see sometimes the process that you're going through. Sometimes people don't know it takes a lot to walk in your shoes. So for every woman, that's why we have to have grace for each other, and we can't be so hard on each other. And our only competition should be our old self from yesterday. We should never compare ourselves to others, because if we don't know what it takes to walk in your shoes, how can we compare our life to what we feel like we see on the outside? Like, that's why I never compare myself to others. I don't know what it can take to be that woman. I can admire her and I can be inspired, but in order to compare myself, there's no comparison, because we all have a journey and we all have a process, and nobody knows what it takes to be you. Like, your story is powerful. Like, like you like to go through so much, keep a smile on your face, and to pour into others, and to keep your head on strong for your family. That's a lot. And a lot of people don't know what it takes to be that woman, or you, or anybody else. So that's inspiring. So okay, I'm so sorry.
You are good. No, so right. People don't see the nights, because yes, I do have nights to this day that I cry myself to sleep. And you can relate to this as not just being a wife, mom, but also being a business owner.
Yeah.
It's hard, and it's a lot harder than what I initially thought. And we have that pressure 24/7. The past couple of weeks, I've literally had to take times where I've told my son, I need a minute. Leave me alone for 1 minute. I'll be right back. And I have to go to my room, close my door. If I cry it out, scream into my pillow, or just, even if I just got to throw a praise for a minute, whatever I got to do to just get rid of that negativity, give it to God, and then I come out, all right, son, what were we doing? Let's finish. And if you don't take that minute, it's gonna get to you to the point to where that depression and touching on mental health, it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
And it's something that I personally struggle with, because it is, again, it's hard.
Yeah.
Trust, my sister Queen knows, we know that life is hard. It's a journey, and it's not always a pretty one. You think you're going to walk a straight line, and sometimes instead of going from point A to B to C, no, you go from point A to M to E to Z. Sometimes you're all over the place. And a couple of things that I do personally for self-care and taking that minute for myself, I'm very much a scent person. So I love my candles. I
Mhm.
my diffusers. I like things to smell good. And at night, I will light a candle. I'll do my skincare routine. And I'll be honest, I don't faithfully do my skincare routine. Don't judge. But you don't know how relaxing it is to just put on a mask and just sit for 15 minutes. And you feel it tingling on your skin. And then you clean off the mask and you see your skin all bright and fresh. I encourage each and every one of you, develop a skincare routine, even if it's something as simple as just a facial cleanser and washing your face. Take care of yourself. Do it. That massage that you wanted to book, but you didn't because little Johnny has T-ball payment next week. talk to the coach, put off the payment, and go get the massage. You deserve it.
Yes, ma'am. Like for me, I love nails. Like if you like, you're absolutely right. You have to do something for yourself. Like so many women give, and think about these women are those women who not only have their family, but they're taking care of somebody else. You know, like women, we are nurturers by heart, so we love to take on things. So I do encourage people to take care of yourself. Like take care of yourself. Like you deserve it. Like I feel like you should do something at least once a month to give back to you. If you want, if that's one thing you want, do it. Because guess what? Other people are gonna put themselves first. You know, that's the thing about givers. We'll give our last, and then that same person that you give your last to, they'll put themselves first. You know, so you have to, you have to put yourself first. You know, so you have to give yourself that grace to take care of yourself, and for men too. And I know this is women empowerment. I was just thinking about men. You know, men have to take care of themselves as well, because you know men are on a different level when it comes, because we're married, so we have to encourage our spouse to take care of themselves too. Like for my husband, like this pandemic has been a shift in a lot of us. You know, there's a lot of things that shifted in our lives that'll never be back the same. I don't even say getting back to normal. I want to say a new normal. So we have to encourage ourselves, even being married, like that road. A lot of times we stop doing some of the things that we love to do, because now it's a sacrifice. Marriage is about compromise, giving and taking. So some of the things that we always love to do, we strayed away from it. So like for me now, I'm encouraging my husband, like, hey, if you want to go back to poetry, that you want to go back to certain things, I feel like it's vital for you to get back in the elements of doing some of the things that you love to do, because that's self-love and self-care. You know, self-care is doing some of the things that you love to do, and don't be afraid to put yourself first. You know, take care of yourself. You said that skin regimen. I ain't even gonna lie, I don't have a skin regimen.
Get
But I
one.
am gonna get one. I'm gonna talk to you behind the scenes, and I am gonna get me a skin regimen and start doing like facials and all that great stuff. Okay, so I
Think
have
that
to get
relax.
there.
It's important to take care of yourself, but going back to the topic of, we are married, something that I do share with you folks, and it's something that I caught myself doing for many, many years, and especially here in Texas, especially in the Latino community, we're right, we are. The point to where we overlook a lot of things, we forgive things that maybe we shouldn't forgive. And in my own marriage, for years, he was first, he was king. And then, unfortunately, we went through a match, and that quickly taught me that one, folks aren't going to be as loyal as you are. And two, at the end of the day, when people do switch up on you, all you're going to have is yourself. That doesn't mean go and curse out your husband or pop him one. Don't do that. Just love yourself enough to understand that it is a partnership, and it's not you serving him or him serving you. It's y'all serving each other.
Right.
That is a form of self love. Loving yourself enough to form a healthy partnership with your spouse is self love and self care. Because when you don't have that spousal support, it's hard. It's very hard. And thankfully, we serve a God that can transform many people and situations. And he changed my husband before things got really bad. And of course, it ain't perfect, but after we went through that rough patch and I kind of had to put myself first, he saw that I wasn't playing. And he saw that I was moving on a path that maybe wasn't going to include him. And then he got real quick, and more understanding, he's more supportive. Um, but like my sister Queen said, sometimes you have to remove yourselves from toxic situations.
Yeah.
And also something I struggle with in my own life. I love my family to death, but I do have some family that they're so toxic I cannot engage in any sort of relationship with them. And that's for my own well-being. And there's been a few of those family members that, and I don't want y'all to take this the wrong way, but I had have to tell some family members, My mental peace means more to me than your feelings. And that sounds harsh, but
No,
sometimes you gotta put peace in your mind first. You have.
that's not harsh because a lot of times I'll say this. Some people, if you don't want to change, like if you know you're like not doing the right things and you're a negative person, you don't have to change. Like I'm that type of person. I give chances after chances, and I learned over the years sometimes too many chances. But if I see yourself not wanting to change, I have to remove myself from the situation. And look, I tell people there's a lot of people that I lost along the way, even in friendships. And I don't hate anybody. And I don't think you're an evil person. I just feel like sometimes you outgrow people. Where you're going is you're just growing, you're evolving. And sometimes you have to just keep moving. I don't hate you. You look, our friendship. One thing I learned, this is powerful to me. One thing I learned is I tell people I enjoy the experience of being with you in that moment. Like it was so beautiful. And sometimes things just change. So I have to graduate myself. Hey, look, this is nothing personal. Well, it is personal because it's about personal growth. But for the most part, we're evolving, we're changing. And I don't hate you. I don't have to go behind your back and dog you out. I don't have to speak negative about you. I'll just say we evolve and where we're going, we just outgrew each other. I don't hate you. We can conversate. Sometimes you have to speak people with a long handle spoon, but mental peace is everything. I'll say don't mental health is everything. Like how you are, and that's your I don't want to say your database. That's everything. How we function, how we move, our perspective. So if I don't have mental peace, that's everything to me. So for me, I'll remove myself out of the situation. And like I said, I lost people along the way, but I never gained an enemy in my mind. What I've gained is that I'm growing. I still love that person. I'll still pray for that person, wish them the best of luck. Now, sometimes it don't end too well, but hey, look, I'm still gonna pray for you because I have to seek out peace in the situation. And for me, the posture of my heart matters. I don't want to go around with all this negative energy, hating people and thinking negative about people. I will love you just the way you are. You just have to sometimes accept people for who they are. And that's self love, not trying to make them who you want them to be, but to see them for who they are and move accordingly. It's self love because now you don't put yourself in toxic relationships, friendships, or any kind of ships that will make you become a negative person or weigh you down. So self love is knowing who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and putting yourself in situations that push you into a greater purpose, that brings out the best in you, that makes you thrive, and things that feed you in a positive way so you can be a better person. So for me, relationships matter. Family, friends, whomever. No, you're not. That's not wrong to say, hey, look, I love myself more than the situation. And sometimes family can be the ones, okay? But never mind. That's a whole different subject. But but I feel like that's just self-love. And it it's a beautiful place, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves like every day is not going to be easy. Nobody's perfect. Every day is not going to be sunshine and roses, okay? So sometimes you even have to remind yourself in that, like, hey, look, I got to back up from the situation. I have to get this thing together. So for me, self-love, all that self-care is everything.
Yes. And you'll notice once you start making that effort to put yourself first, you will feel treasured. You will feel valued. And once you feel that little bit of power, baby, you can do anything. And
Yes, ma'am.
and you know, especially with this journey of pageantry, I have seen it myself. Friends that I thought I would be friends with until the day I leave this planet, we're not close anymore. And it's not because of bad blood, but what you said makes total sense. I have outgrown certain relationships and certain friendships. Like when I was a young adult, everyone knew me as crazy Melissa. If we're going to go out and we go with Melissa, it's going to be a party. And those same friends get frustrated with me because I'm not that same person. I don't. I'm. I want to be at home with my family in my little sanctuary. The days of going out and doing this and doing that, I outgrew those days. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I might try to have fun every now and then, but for the most part, I don't want to say that my interests have changed. Like you said, it's an evolution, it's growth. And I think that has a lot to do with why I decided to get so involved with my community, because going back to what I said earlier, I see so many people in my community trapped by their circumstances. And
Yeah.
all to realize is that there's so much more than that. Like, and if they would just take that step to do something for themselves, it will be a beginning of a transformation that will change their life, because it changed mine. I know everything that you've gone through has changed yours. Now, another one of my favorite self care and self love tips that I want to share with you all,
Mhm.
and this is going back to community service: get involved in your community. I
Yeah.
guarantee if you search in your city's government webpage, you'll find resources to women's group, children's group, you know, organizations for different interests. Get involved, because people that can help you grow and prosper, they might not come to you directly. Sometimes
Right.
you're going to have to go and seek them out. And I encourage y'all to connect yourselves with people that can help you grow. It's okay to ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with approaching someone and saying, "Can you maybe tell me how you got there?
Yeah.
Overcome this." It's okay. Seek that advice, seek that counsel. And believe it or not, Queen, I'm so glad that we're talking about this, because I've been wanting to meet you for a while, because I just think you're so amazing. Like, I do. I think you're wonderful. And you
Thank you.
inspired to actually take the step and launch my own business in the beauty industry.
That's awesome. And
You're
see, when I saw you involved in the beauty industry, that's what kind of drew me to you, because um that for me personally, I love making people feel good. I love making people feel, and my favorite is nails, but I love doing feet and pedicures. Like, I know that's like the lowest of the low. A lot of girls like, what? But how you feel, like, that's the engine to your body. Like, that's like the engine to your car. And for me, it makes you feel good. And there's some things that I'm working on, and I'm open to help people. One thing that I've learned as an empowerment, I chose women's empowerment because I've been through some rough times in my life. Like, if you knew my whole story, you wouldn't, like, I can make your head spin, okay? But for the most part, for the most part, I made it through it. And like you said, God chose you for certain situations because he knew you wouldn't be selfish not to reach back and help somebody else. So how dare me go through this stuff and have the antidote to somebody else's problem and not reach back and help somebody else. And a lot of times, it's just a point of evolving. Even in the business realm, you meet so many people that don't want to share. They don't want to help you. People think there's not enough for everybody. And for me, one thing I've learned, that I am called to a certain group of people. You are called to a certain group of people. Your voice is going to touch somebody else differently from my voice touching somebody else. So what is it for me to say, hey, Melissa, if you need help setting up your business, if you need help getting this together, let me help you, because I wanted to help. And see, one of my goals is to be everything that I needed. So one thing, if you want to solve a problem, become everything that you once needed to somebody else. Now that's a blessing.
Yeah.
Like, become that person to somebody else and help change their lives. Because for me, connecting with women was hard, and not because I wasn't friendly or anything, but some people think that they see it as more of a competition. I don't care if me and you doing the same thing. Hey, look, if you're doing it, I know that, hey, look, we can learn from each other, because in my mind, you serve a different set of people from me. There's enough for everybody. So even if we're doing the same things, that I can't do what you're doing, how you doing it. You bring a certain light to that situation. And there's Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's all on the same block, and all of them serve burgers. And there's going to be 10 people to go to McDonald's. There's going to be 7 people to go to Burger King, and 5 people might go to Wendy's, but they're all still doing their thing, right? So they're not in competition with each other, because they're focused on what they're doing, and they know they serve a different group of people. And that's how I look at us as women. That's why I feel like this pageantry system is so powerful, because guess what? Your community service might look like this, hers might look like this, because we all know different sets of people. We can reach those people how we know how to reach them best. Like you might reach them in a beauty industry. You're in Texas. I'm here in South Carolina. I might can do some things here that's different from what you can do. We can even be in the same state and collaborate. And that's the beautiful thing about it. How we serve people is going to be different because we all have something different to offer. And the people that are drawn to us is going to be different. So if you need help with your business, hey, I'm here. Like whatever it is, if I can give or whatever information or whatever, I'm open for that, because I like to see people grow. And I'm all for entrepreneurship too. Yes, honey. Entrepreneurship is the thing. But nevertheless, I'm here for it. And like I said, I just want to be, like I said, everything that I needed, I wanted to be that to somebody else. So for me, that's my way of giving back. And like you said, it's important to connect with people in the community, because there's always going to be somebody that needs help. And there's different ways. And a lot of those people are not just going to come to you and ask for help. You might have to go to that person. So I feel like that in itself is super powerful. So
yeah, that is definitely another way that God can use you is, and I've seen it happen, not on for myself personally, but um when I got started, aside from doing makeup, I also do microblading, which is a form of semi-permanent tattooing to give you eyebrows 24/7 perfectly.
I saw that. I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at your page, girl. I was like, okay, she could do that. See, in South Carolina, that's illegal. So for us here in South Carolina, girl, my state board, I know. But here, you have to be under a medical doctor in order to do the microblading and the microblending. And that's something that I wanted to do. But look, we're going to talk behind the scenes, because look, I wanted some lessons on some things, because there are certain things that we can't do in South Carolina, but in North Carolina and other places, the beauty industry is like everything. So
dominate. But when I got started microblading, I went through this, I hate saying it, I went through this little 2-day training course. I thought it taught me everything I needed to know. It did not. And when I started running my office from a salon owner that I'm working with, he saw for himself that I had no clue what I was doing. And he graciously took me under his wing, got me all together, and helped me learn. And I want to be able to do that for somebody else.
that's super cool. And that was super nice to him, because, girl, some people might see you mess up and they just talk about you and laugh at you and don't help you, okay? Like, so that was a super blessing. I'm like, this girl is jacking them up. Like, no.
He was like, what is she doing? Let me help.
Lord have mercy. No.
So, but God knew I needed that. And even because I'm also a writer, on the writing side, he put a very powerful, strong woman editor who owns her own magazine. He put her in my path to help me develop my writing. So all these people have come into my life to help me grow and mold so that I can learn new things. I so want to be able to do that. Yeah. And like you were saying, there's so much room. And here in San Antonio specifically, with makeup, there are a few artists who have been in the game a quick minute and they clown new artists. And I've kind of had to tell myself, I'll never hate on anybody. I actually admire that particular artist. But I came to the conclusion that what she offers, I can't offer. What I offer, she can't offer. We serve different things, different purposes. So trust me when I say that maybe not so much in the beauty industry, but in every industry, there's room for everybody. We're all going to, you just got to find your niche and go for it.
Right. Yes, ma'am. And that's one thing about our industry. Self-love and self-care is looking at the other person, say, hey, look, they're doing a great job, but I know that they're called to a particular person and we're called to different people. And see, it's okay. It's okay. And like a lot of times I have ran into situations where I was admiring somebody and they just like came off the whole, it changed your view about them, but it's like they came off in a different way. Like, okay, look, I was admiring you, but now, that's a whole different story. But nevertheless, I enjoyed you tonight. And And just to wrap it up, um, I do believe like self-care is important. Knowing what you love, knowing what you don't love, putting yourself first, giving yourself grace to make mistakes, knowing that you're not perfect. It's important. Allowing yourself to grow and to evolve. It's important connecting yourself with the people that push you into greatness, and people like Mr. Melissa just said, that people will see your downfalls and say, "Let me help you in that area." That's the person you want in your life, because they didn't just sit there and let you make a mistake without helping you. And that's powerful, because that's how I feel like we should be to other people. That's self-love and loving other people. That's love and self-care. So for me, I'm going to get my skin regimen, because I don't have one. Like Melissa said, taking care of your skin and doing the stuff daily, I don't do that. I use like Noxzema, but doing the facials and stuff, I got to get there. But for the most part, I enjoyed tonight. And for me, I feel like self-love is everything. So many people deal with depression, anxiety, mentally. Girl, the mental health is more than anything. Like, my peace of mind is everything. So for me, this is important, and I wanted to talk about it so that so many other women can just tap in and say, "Hey, look, I need to take care of myself more. I need to put myself more first sometimes." So for me, tonight was just not only empowerment for me, but I just wanted to speak to somebody else, and hopefully something that we said resonated with somebody and helped to push them into operating more in self-love and self-care. So if you wanted to say anything to close us out, the floor is yours. But I wanted to say I enjoyed you. I love meeting you virtually. I can't wait to meet you in person in July. This is exciting. It was nerve-wracking, honey. I'm so ready. Like, okay, this is a whole different topic, but I just enjoyed you tonight, Melissa. You're a beautiful person, and your story is beautiful, and I'm excited for what's happening in your life, because you now have the opportunity and the platform to change so many other women, and to be that person that they needed, or you needed once, a while ago. So for me, it was an honor to meet you, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. So
Now, I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you in July. And I just want to tell all our fellow sisters listening in, you are worth it. You absolutely are. And if you need advice, if you need somebody to talk to, please reach out. I'm here. I know my fellow sister Queen is here for y'all too.
all right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope something that was said touched you in a way that could empower you. So stay tuned for next time. And God bless. Y'all have a great night. It's Friday night. So y'all go and do it. I'm about to go watch Godzilla versus King Kong. So that's what we having tonight. We having movie night, and that's my self-care for tonight, because I'm going to unwind. I'm not doing no more business tonight. I'm going to say it's family time. We're going to watch a movie, and we're going to kick it and enjoy the night. So I hope y'all have a blessed night, and I'll see you guys soon. And peace and much love, Melissa.
Mwah.